Welcome to This Week in Missouri Politics. To kick off our college tour, we are here on the beautiful campus, University of Central Missouri in Warrensburg, with the President of the University. President Best, thank you so much for having us.
Oh, Scott, so glad to have you guys. This Week in Missouri Politics, of course, a staple for us here in Missouri, so appreciate your being on campus and enjoying this fabulous weather we have.
You are the first place we've been on our tour. We're going to go all around the state, but there's so many exciting things happening on Missouri's college campuses. Wanted to come here first and ask you, what's going on at UCM?
Well, for UCM, I agree. I think our universities and colleges around the state all do a great job. And here at UCM, we're right in the middle of our fall semester now. A lot of energy activity happening. Fall brings with it all of our new students who are here on campus. Some good news to report there for us. We don't get to report our official enrollment until about fifth week of the semester, but we're up about 12% on our freshman class. So really thrilled about that. And it also brings in the fall activities we have. So we have our first home football game right over here over our shoulder coming up on September the 11th. And we do a big street fair as part of that, Get the Red Out. And so we're thrilled about that. And the community comes out and supports us. We're one of the top Division II attendees when it comes to football. We average about 8,000 students.
Yeah, and they show up.
Yeah.
Lots of places have a lot of students. They don't actually show up and have that pride. I think it enhances the experience of college. When you pull together and you have a full stadium and the team's there, that just makes it more fun, I think.
Yeah, it does. Of course, we're here in Warrensburg, right? This is our main campus, and we serve quite a few students right here on this campus. We have our location in Lee Summit as well. That's a residential center. We serve 2,000 to 3,000 students in that location too, as well as online classes, those things. So we serve globally, realistically. But if you come to Warrensburg and you're part of the campus here, you get that full student residential experience and get to participate in things like our athletic events. Our Jenny's golf program, they kicked off recently. They finished first in their first tournament of the fall semester. And of course, volleyball and soccer happens in the fall as well, in addition to all the great theater programs and musical programs that we have as well.
What has always struck me is how beautiful this campus is.
Oh, thank you.
And I know that probably when they tally up all the academics and things, it may not get factored in, but this is one of the most beautiful campuses in the state of Missouri. I really do believe on some level, if you're going to school there and you're at a place that truly has pride in its facilities, pride in how it's kept up, I think that sets a tone for how you want to teach, how you want to be a student.
Well, I appreciate your acknowledging that. I tell everyone that we could have the best academic programs in the world, and I think highly of our academic programs. They're great programs, but if the campus is falling down around us, people won't get past that and see the great academic programs we do have. So thank you for that. And I have to say, the state legislature, the General Assembly, they've been so supportive of us the last few years and allowing us to make that kind of investment to keep the campus looking great. So we're just now finishing a $40 million renovation of our Humphreys building, which includes some of our workforce development assets, for example. And we couldn't have done that without the state. The state is fully investing in that project. So we are so incredibly grateful for the General Assembly and the support we've gotten the last few years to make us make those kind of investments to thrive as an institution. And that, of course, extends to our federal delegation as well. Well, Representative Alford, of course, is our district representative. He's always so generous with his time, and we have a chance to meet with him regularly. And, of course, both of our senators as well. We've had a chance to meet with them on a regular basis.
Guy that just gets it, right? Alford he does. He came into this from the media, and I've seen folks make the transition from the media, and it's a little bumpy. Mark Alford just felt like he took to this. He just kind of gets it.
He's a student, which is what really impressed me about him. When he first came to campus when he was running his campaign, and he immediately wanted to learn about us. He came back after he won the election. He wanted to know how we did things, why we did things a certain way, who we served, and then most importantly, how he could help us fulfill the mission that we have for the state of Missouri and beyond.
You're the home of our affiliate in Central Missouri, KMOS.
Yes.
I remember Mark Alford because we hosted the only debate in his congressional race right here on campus.
Exactly.
KMOS is a terrific, just a wonderful asset, not just for the campus and the students, really for all of Central Missouri.
We're very proud of KMOS and leadership. Josh Tomlinson, of course, does a great job with KMOS, but that extends to all of our staff. And Josh does a great job of hiring a lot of our students to work as part of the production team. And so we've had students who've actually won Telly and Emmy Awards as a result of the work that they've done while at KMOS, while still students. And so just very proud of that. And for us, it is more than just a television station. It's an academic lab for us, but then we also serve Central Missouri very effectively as a result of having that broadcast power and the broadcast spectrum. We serve effectively as the emergency broadcast center for many of the rural constituents that we have in the Central Missouri region. So KMOS is a great asset here for all of us.
When we talk about this part of the state, one of the more prettier parts of the state, You're right there by the State Fair in Sedalia. You're close enough to Kansas City, but far enough away. The location of Warrensburg, I always thought was a terrific location for a college.
Yeah, so interesting story how that happened. The college started as a normal school in 1871. It was supposed to go to Sedalia.
Yeah.
And there were some backdoor dealings with some citizens of Warrensburg and the state legislature and the board of trustees who made that decision at the time. And so they originally said it's going to be Sedalia, and then there were some conversations with the board of trustees. They pulled that decision back. A few days later, they came out and awarded the institution to Warrensburg, Missouri. And there were some generous individuals here in town that donated the land for the campus, the original campus, as well as hundreds of thousands of dollars to start the institution. And that has only grown over the years. The support we get from the local community is amazing, the entire region. And we started with just a few hundred acres here locally. We've expanded. We actually now have the largest campus in terms of acreage in the entire state.
Is that right?
Yeah, which surprises a lot of people. But if you think about, we own a golf course, for example, we own Pirtle Springs, and then we also own our own airport, Skyhaven Airport.
That's right.
And so when you add all the acres there, we have 2 farms as well that we run. We actually have over 1,500 acres under management. So when you mention how good the campus looks, it's a lot of hard work to keep us looking good with that many acres.
You know, to me, it shows a little wisdom. I mean, when I think of Sedalia, I think of the State Fair. And there's only so many things you can really put your time and focus on. When I think of Warrensburg, I think University of Central Missouri. It does feel like both communities are very good hosts to their institutions, but it seems like it's good to have one in each, right?
So for me, diversification is a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, we have 2 locations for a reason. We like to diversify. And so, we're not at all upset that Sedalia has the State Fair. We love going to the State Fair. We host an alumni event there every year. But we're thrilled to be here in Warrensburg, Missouri with this beautiful campus we have.
Tell me about the airport. That is such a unique thing for a college to have.
It is. Not very many colleges and universities have airports anymore. We are one of the few that are left that actually own an airport. We use it as the base for our professional pilot program. So we have about 300 professional pilot majors, one of the largest programs we have on campus actually, which serves a vital workforce need for the entire country. The demand for pilots now is tremendous globally, and so we're thrilled to be able to serve that. The state, along with some donors and the university, was able to make an investment a few years ago to build a brand new terminal, an education center there for our students. And the runway itself is about 4,200 feet long. It's a public use airport, so we love when the public flies in, buys some gas from us. We're happy to do that, but about 88% of the activities that happen at the airport are actually UCM related. Students flying planes, getting lessons, those kind of things. So if you've never stopped by Skyhaven Airport, feel free to stop by on a beautiful day like this, and you'll see a lot of planes coming in and out. We're one of the busiest airports in the state, actually.
I read where the placement, if you come out of University of Central Missouri's program there, is north of 95%.
Yeah, we are, almost every one of our pilots that actually get their certifications and go to commercial are able to place. And in fact, many of them place with airlines before they graduate. So we have a program with a couple of different regional airlines where the students are hired by those regional airlines, and then they still have to accrue hours in order to qualify under the FAA. So they have to get to 1,000 hours of flight. And so we hire them back as flight instructors from the airline. So they're technically working with the airline, getting their seniority built, but we're utilizing them as flight instructors here. So it's a pipeline program, as we call it. Been very successful, and we're so thrilled to be able to do that for our students here, but also, again, for the workforce needs of the state and beyond.
Yeah, I mean, it's truly like a regional thing, and not just regional in Missouri. It's regional in the Midwest, the need for pilots. But I'm going to ask you before we go, tell me about your international students.
Yeah, so this year we are down on international students. We've been fortunate to have served a large international population for a really long time, and we love doing that. For us, it's for many reasons, right? There's some cultural experiences that our students get to enjoy as a result of having students from other countries here. There's a revenue side of that, of course, for the university that helps us subsidize what happens here for our domestic students. And so this year we've seen some challenges. We are down about 2,000 on headcount on international students versus where we were this time last year.
I talked to a lot of people in higher education. That's not just a UCM thing.
No,
I think
it's global.
That's around the whole country.
Yeah, so the U.S. in particular, and really for us, we look at it, of course, multiple facets, but according to the Brookings Institute, the international students coming to the U.S., they're about a $44 billion, billion with a B, dollar impact on the country. Missouri, because we have a slightly above average per capita population of international students, that's about a $1.1 billion economic impact. And so when we start seeing some changes there, you know, as a citizen, I think anytime we hear there's a $1.1 billion economic impact that's shaky here, what's going on, we want to see what's happening there. And so, of course, our advocacy is international students have historically been one of the most monitored populations of international visitors that have come into the country. We are required every semester to report the classes that our students are taking, their residence, that sort of stuff. And even when they graduate, if they stay in the country and work under OPT, as we call it, which is allowed by the government, then we are still required to report on those students. So for up to 3 years following graduation, we're still reporting to the federal government. So for us, a highly monitored group of individuals coming to the U.S., spending a lot of money here for education and for just living purposes, and that's an important population for us. So we've certainly
turn that around. How do you bring them back here?
So there are two ways we're doing that. One, we're of course advocating at the federal level to ensure that the process still works, so that students who want to come here and study that have legitimate purpose for being in the U.S. can do so without strong impediment. Second, we also are still involved in recruiting in those countries to let them know that here's the process. Make sure you follow the process every step. It's very well specified, and you need to follow that to ensure that you're able to come into the country. Third, when you're here, make sure you do everything you're supposed to do, right? And then, of course, fourth, we're doing our part to try to reach out and provide education within those countries. So if we have a great online presence, for example, students from anywhere in the world can take our online courses. And we're looking at some other partnership opportunities where we would look at in-country provision of education as well.
Give me something that we can look forward to in the next few years. Before we come back here for one of these college tours, give me something we can look at that you're in the planning stages now that folks can see kind of grow over the next couple of years.
Yeah, so from a very tangible, visible perspective, we're about to embark on a very robust program of refreshing our entire capital plant here. So we completed a master plan, truly plan, right, on paper plan, for the entire campus. We call it our campus master plan. And we've done some pieces of it, but we're about to hit that hard and heavy over the next few years. So when you come back in a few years, you're going to see some different buildings that have been put up. You're going to see some buildings refreshed that needed to be refreshed. So it'll be an exciting time from a capital perspective. Of course, programmatically, we're going to continue to grow our enrollment as well.
It's a little hard sometimes, though, to keep the beautiful architecture you have here. I just think you're so well known for this beautiful campus. When you build new buildings, is it a tough thing to keep them integrated into the theme you have already established?
There's intentionality on what we do in that sense. So there's certain segments of the campus that were built with sandstone from the local quarries. So anything that we construct in that main campus has to look and feel the same way. The refresh we're doing of Humphreys has to look and feel that way. The periphery of campus tends to be more red brick oriented. So what we build on the periphery will follow that same concept. But yeah, that's the idea behind the plan, right? It's the look and feel has to be consistent, but the functionality has to be there. The aesthetics certainly have to be there.
President, thank you so much for the hospitality. We sure enjoyed being here.
Hey, thanks for the opportunity.
We're going to be right back. One of UCM's own is going to moderate the opinion maker panel, Jay Kroesen, after this.
For more than a century, the St. Louis Carpenters Union has shaped our communities. Through trusted alliances, we deliver skilled professional craftspeople while our business partners provide the kind of quality jobs that keep our economy humming. It's a blueprint that has worked since 1882. Turning Missouri into a right-to-work state stalls progress, wipes out jobs, and kills momentum. Right to work is wrong for everyone. Let's keep Missouri moving forward. Visit carpdc.org to learn more.
You know, Missouri farmers have been doing what's best for their land for generations. After all, no one knows what it takes to feed and fuel a growing global population better than they do. So why are trial lawyers threatening Missouri farmers' best defense against weeds? Our farmers don't need to be controlled. They need to be supported. Keep glyphosate in our state. Show your support at TakeControlMissouri.com. Paid for by Modern Ag Alliance in support of Missouri farmers.
Missouri's childcare crisis is hurting our children, families, and even our economy. Currently, 78 Missouri counties are designated as childcare deserts, where the number of kids needing childcare exceeds the number of available options. Today, some Missouri families are spending more on childcare than housing, and Missouri's childcare shortage costs our economy $1.35 billion every year. Missouri families and businesses deserve better. Learn more at mochampionofchildren.com.
Some politicians claim cockfighting is a proud tradition, but is it really something to be proud of? Cockfighting isn't just cruel to animals, it's cruel to humans. It's linked to organized criminal activity, illegal gambling, even drug trafficking. Leading law enforcement and Christian groups have spoken out and are urging a stop to the violence. But some politicians want to give cockfighters a pass. Keep cockfighting out of our state.
We have a severe weather alert to report here. The storm is also bringing the threat of damaging winds and large hail.
Here's the thing. When storms bear down, we step up.
Ready to begin?
You bet.
Our teams are always ready to keep your power strong. Ameren.com/poweron.
Welcome back to the University of Central Missouri for our Opinion Maker panel. I'm Jay Kroesen, and this week we're joined by Warrensburg Mayor Bruce Uhler. Thank you for taking the time. Student Governor Hadley Oden, thank you so much. And Representatives Brandon Phelps and Ray Reed. Representative Phelps, we'll get started with you first. Obviously, this is your district here. You took over from former Representative Dan Hougs. So when you have to go into the legislature, you already have your constituents to worry about, but you also have one of the big universities here in Missouri. Talk to me a little bit. What's the approach you got to take to that? Because that adds a kind of special burden to you.
Yeah, well, and I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a burden. I mean, I feel like we're lucky to have the university in the district, and of course all the students that come into town, especially this time of year. You know, it's fantastic. It's the energy that comes with those students. But certainly we need to be mindful in the legislature of doing what is necessary to keep the university strong and vibrant and keep it here for as long as we can. You know, the effect that it has on our local businesses, the community as a whole. It's you know, the amenities that come with this university just over our shoulder. This particular sports complex here, the multi-purpose building.
I'm sure you'll be here at some point this season.
Be here many times this year, and then all the other things that come along with it, the bowling alley, and you know, and then the activities that come with this university and the students that are here. Next week, we're going to have Get the Red Out, and that's a great event. We're going to have a homecoming parade here next month, and that's a great event. And these things bring the community together. They're you know, we're just lucky to have them. And so as a legislator, we always have to be mindful. What do we need to do to make sure that our university stays strong? And so we can keep it here and growing for as long as we possibly can.
So I'm going to guess, besides your constituents, I mean, they are your constituents as well, but I'm going to guess one of the important relationships is with you and Roger Best and David Pierce, right?
Yes, absolutely. And of course, Senator Pierce and President Best, they come to the Capitol quite a bit. And
I think Roger just comes up to see if he can be a senator again at times.
It's possible. So, you know, they'll come in and visit with us and, of course, let us know what they have on the agenda, what's on the radar. I enjoy that, you know, that time getting to speak with them. And President Best will usually keep me updated on priorities. Senator Pierce does the same. But yeah, we need to be mindful of those things, and that's a two-way street. You know, if there's you know, if there's some roadblocks or some uphill battles, I try to express that to them, and then of course they share all their thoughts with me on here's priority 1, 2, and 3. And so we've got a good working relationship, and hopefully we can continue that in the years to come.
Well, speaking of students and former students, Representative Reed, you're not unaccustomed to this campus, are you?
I'm not. This is, in my opinion, the best university on the planet.
I think two more of us would also agree with you as students and former students.
That's right. You know, I got my start right in politics right here at UCM. You know, Dr. Baggs introduced me to Nick Haverbley in Governor Nixon's office, and at that point, I was sucked into Missouri politics. You know, but it's really, you know, coming from St. Louis, where you're in this blue dot, I assumed everyone in the world was a Democrat. That they got a rude awakening. But that's really kind of helped me develop a politics and just a way of thinking of making service about my sympathies and less about my resentment. You know, this is really a family-oriented community. This is the community where neighbors still wave at each other on just walking down the streets. It's a really special place where folks understand, you know, the value of a dollar, and they're not hard to reach, but often feel hardly reached by their government. So I feel like my responsibility, not just the communities in St. Louis, but communities here, is just trying to make them feel like their government's working for them.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit. You had actually a very interesting experience in your postgraduate working on some political stuff after attending UCM. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so, you know, I met Senator Stephen Weber back when he was chair of the Missouri Democratic Party, and I pretty much just texted him and said, hey, can I have a job? And he ended up giving me a job with the Missouri Democratic Party, and followed him and Senator McClaskill around the state, just trying to suck up as much as I can. With him, I experienced Putnam County for the first time and Wright County for the first time, and that's where I really started to fall in love with Missouri. We have the most beautiful state in the union, and just like Warrensburg, folks who aren't hard to reach, but often feel hard to reach by their government. So it's our jobs to kind of reconnect those communities.
Your time here, I don't think we were separated too much in our years by our times here. But your time here, talk a little bit, what was your experience here? Because obviously you're coming into it's a little smaller of a university. It's obviously different than St. Louis, but you came here. Personally speaking, I had a fantastic time here. But talk a little bit about your time here. Obviously, you mentioned Dr. Bax, who I got to know quite a bit working for the student government here. Talk a little bit about your experience as a student.
Yeah, being able to join student government was a phenomenal experience. There was a ton of not just work we did in the school, but community service that we did especially around the holidays here in Warrensburg. And a football game here, a nighttime game in Warrensburg, you can kind of just smell the natty light, just kind of seeing on coming down to the field. So it's a very special place, the home of Old Drum. It's my home away from home.
Somebody who knows quite a bit about the community here in Warrensburg would be Mayor Uhler. Talk a little bit, what is the impact that UCM has here? Obviously, I've seen a lot of alumni who still live in the area, who contribute to UCM and the community as a whole. Talk a little bit about the experience of being mayor of this town.
Yeah, Jake, you bring up a good point. It's really about the people. When you get down to it, the people that come here as incoming freshmen, grad students, administration, the deans of the colleges here. We're so lucky because so many of them, we have over 100,000 alumni now of this university. And I grew up here, went to school here, transferred down to Mizzou for a year, my junior year, and I said it was just as good or better here. So I came back my senior year, finance major, went away 35 years, came back for retirement to Warrensburg a few years ago, and I'm so happy to be back because this is home and it is a community. And we're lucky to get students like Gray here, who goes off in just a few short years, becomes a state representative. We've got so many alumni that come back and famous ones. Jim Crane that owns the Houston Astros. Yep. David Stewart, who owns Worldwide Technology from Clinton, lives down in St. Louis and the wealthiest black entrepreneur in the United States. Went to school here, and he can go on and on and on. But from a Warrensburg standpoint, of course, it's also a boost for our economy. Here in Warrensburg, we're kind of on a three-legged stool because we have the university, we have Whiteman Air Force Base just a few miles away. Yep. Surprised we don't have a B-2 going over right about now because it usually comes about this time.
It probably makes it easy to get them to fly over the football games too.
It does, yeah. They always have a nice flyover during the season. We get one about once a week anyway. And then, of course, the community here for these students where the construction's going on the campus, the plans they have, the master planning they're doing on campus. So the city works real close with the university. We have
whatever good happens at UCM, it happens to Warrensburg too. What
absolutely.
Happens here, it positively affects
absolutely. We have,
Warrensburg as well.
As Ray had mentioned, we have great athletic programs here. Student athletes. These are real student athletes coming here. We're one of the best D2 schools in the entire country, but they're coming here to get an education first, and we're real lucky with that. And being a resident of Warrensburg, the cultural events that they bring on campus. I mean, world famous speakers and musicians, and then the cooperation they have with our local schools, whether it's STEM or other programs, a lot of interaction between the local schools and universities, fantastic.
And I'm sure the investment here to UCM also, whether it's jobs or it's economic investment or education investment, I mean, that's got to help the Warrensburg community as well.
Oh, tremendous. Like I said, they're one of the biggest employers we have, obviously in the city of Warrensburg. We have Whiteman Air Force Base in the county, and of course the hospital school system. But it's also what those people that live here bring to the Warrensburg and from the university. They get involved with community events, school boards, different organizations we have here. So it's a connected association we have at the university, and we work real close with.
Do you still have your old MSU gang merchandise?
Or not
CMSU, sorry.
Yeah, well, when I grew up here, it was CMSC, and then we've gone through that. And of course, this is a university that was founded as a teacher's college, and that's really what our foundation is. That when the state legislature said we need a school north of the Missouri River and one south, when the local residents jumped on that back in 1870, 71 to say, let's put it in Warrensburg.
So when did Dan Houck's come into the play?
Yeah, well, I knew Dan Houcks when he was like 8 years old and he was a pistol running around the Garden of Eden. Anyway, he's a great family, Dan and Jim and the whole family. But we were lucky to have him. He was a great representative, just like Senator Pierce was for us.
Well, somebody who knows all about the student life here, obviously Student Governor Hadley Oden. You are involved in a lot of the different organizations, whether it's student government or mock trial or any of those other sorts of groups. Talk a little bit, what is student life like on campus now?
Yeah, I mean, so we're kind of coming out of a weird time. So we're 5 years out of COVID, right? And so honestly, my freshman year was 2022, and I felt like, looking back, honestly, my way over here today, from the start of my college experience to what's coming to be the end of it, is I've seen this tremendous growth of school spirit. It was always there, but I feel like every grade that comes in just gets more and more excited to be here and involved. I've always been a very, very involved student, but I feel like this year, especially coming out of last year, it's been easier to get students to do things with us, whether that's join a club, go to a game, go to get the red out, go to a play, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been
Talk a little bit about you're in a very unique position as student governor. Talk a little bit about what you do there, because you spend a lot of time working with the higher ups here at the university.
Yeah, so I came in to be the student governor after my freshman year. It was around July of 2023 is when I got put there. And so through student governor, I've worked as assistant representative on the board of governors, which I often explain to my peers is just the school board, but on a collegiate level. And so
it sounds really cool though. Like if you just drop it, I'm student governor. And then
it sounds very, very cool. I get a lot of teasing from my friends about it because it sounds very prestigious, but no, it's really neat. I've really enjoyed that I've served as a voice for students, and it's not just my voice as a student. I get to encompass every group and every person on campus and kind of speak for what I feel benefits all of us. And of course, the board's amazing. It's really been great to learn that a group of people who care so much about our university are helping, and that they have our best interests truly at heart.
Something I've noticed real quick just about the university itself is I've seen a lot of students come to really embrace Roger Best. I personally believe he has set the tone for what a university president is supposed to be, where he's out there, he's talking to the students. David was telling me earlier that he can't go anywhere on campus without being mobbed with a bunch of students wanting to get pictures with him and talk to him. I would say that's a fair assessment.
I would absolutely say that. Of course, I've only known one president, like university president, and that is Dr. Best, but it's been, my first meeting with Dr. Best that I thought was our first was a true interaction. But in that conversation, he actually told me, like, we've met, a month ago, and he remembered my name and where I was from. That was really special, and it's been fun to watch. Through the board, I've been following him places, and I'll be a couple of places behind him, and he'll pass a group of students, and they'll do one of these, and they'll think that's him, and they'll go right up and grab him, and he's always very kind. So,
well, someone I know they for sure do that with is here to join us today. I have a special guest that we have on campus, Mo the Mule himself. I just want to thank everybody for taking the time to join us on this college tour, the first episode that we're getting started with. It's been truly a pleasure to be here at the University of Central Missouri. Again, an alma mater and something that has mattered quite a lot to me and my family through our history. And so I just want to thank you again for taking the time, our panel, wonderful panel here, and President Best and David Pierce and the university as well. I hope you join us next week for This Week in Missouri Politics.
This Week in Missouri Politics is sponsored by the Missouri Automobile Dealers Association, Ameren, Spire, the United Electric Cooperative, and the Missouri Association of Career Fire Protection Districts.